How did you realize your parents were failing you? When I was 15, I thought I had the perfect parents because they never asked me any questions. Where are you going? When will you be back? Who are you with? None of that. My friends would complain about their parents being nosy, and I'd smugly say mine respected my privacy. I felt so mature and independent. One night I came home at midnight to find my mom watching TV in her pajamas. "Hey, sweetie," she said without looking up. "There's leftover pizza in the fridge." That was it. No questions about where I'd been or why I was so late on a school night. I thought this was amazing parenting, treating me like the adult I believed I was. My friend Sarah's parents were the complete opposite. They had this rule where she had to text them every hour when she was out. "It's so embarrassing," she'd complain. "They treat me like I'm 5 years old." I'd nod sympathetically, while secretly thinking her parents were way too controlling. The wake-up call came during parent-teacher conferences sophomore year. I'd been getting C's and D's all semester, but I figured no news was good news. My parents never asked about school, so they probably assumed everything was fine. The night before conferences, I casually mentioned them to my mom while she was making dinner. "Oh right, those are tomorrow," she said, not looking up from her phone. "Your dad and I both have to work late, so we'll probably skip them this year. If there were any real problems, they would have called us, right?" I just shrugged and said yeah, probably, but something felt weird about it. The next day, my English teacher, Mrs. Rodriguez, asked where my parents were. When I explained they couldn't make it, she looked genuinely concerned. "Honey, we sent 3 letters home about your grades. Did your parents not get them?" I realized I'd been intercepting the mail for months, throwing away anything that looked school-related because I didn't want to deal with lectures about my grades. But the thing is, my parents never even noticed the letters were missing. They never asked about school, never checked my backpack, never looked at my report cards unless I specifically handed them over. That weekend, Sarah invited me to her family game night. I was dreading it, because I figured it would be awkward and boring. But watching her family interact was like seeing a completely different species. Her dad asked about her history project, and actually listened to her answer. Her mom noticed she seemed tired, and asked if she was staying up too late. They argued about Monopoly rules and laughed at each other's jokes. When Sarah rolled her eyes and said, "My parents are so annoying, they're always in my business," I suddenly understood that being in someone's business meant caring about their life. My parents weren't giving me independence or treating me like an adult. They just weren't paying attention. That night I went home and tried an experiment. I told my parents I was failing 3 classes and might not graduate. My mom looked up from her phone for exactly 2 seconds and said, "Well, just try harder next semester. Okay, sweetie?" My dad was already asleep on the couch. I realized that what I'd mistaken for cool, laid-back parenting was actually just indifference. My parents weren't respecting my maturity. They were too checked out to notice me.